is so hot. The debate is going to be hot.
I thought the first
Capital Conversation.
Hi, I'm Todd Purdom.
And I'm Dee Dee Myers.
Welcome to another Capital Conversation. Well, Dee Dee, one debate down, 3 to go. What do we make of Friday night's?
Well, I think in the immediate aftermath, most people called it either a tie or a slight win by either Obama or McCain. But over the course of the weekend, all the Insta polls about the debate seemed to show watchers gave Obama the edge, although they don't really count for much. But what we've seen is a bit of a shift in the national polls, again, favoring Obama. So maybe voters saw something they liked, or they were reassured about his ability to be president, particularly commander-in-chief.
This was a moment where foreign policy, McCain's strong suit, he could have theoretically stopped Barack Obama, maybe stopped him cold if he'd had an incredibly forceful performance on Friday night. He didn't do that.
Well, it wasn't just about McCain's performance, it was also about Obama's performance. And I think there's a part of McCain that must think, I keep, hitting this guy, and he keeps getting up. What do I have to do?
Well, I think that's what Hillary Clinton thought too.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
the lesson of this campaign is that he keeps coming and coming.
And I think Friday night was a great example of that. Yeah, McCain got in some good shots, but Obama never lost his cool. He never gave up. He kept coming back, making his arguments. And so on points, I think some observers may have given it to McCain, but what Obama needed to do, and what I think he did, was reassure a lot of observers that he could be commander-in-chief, that he was up to it.
Now, that debate came at the end of this topsy-turvy week in which it wasn't clear for a while the debate was going to happen. McCain said he was going to suspend his campaign, although he really didn't, to come back to Washington and work on the budget, the bailout for the Wall Street rescue. The consensus by the end of the week seemed to be that McCain had done more harm than good on that he'd come and stepped in the middle of negotiations that were going all right and kind of blew them up.
Right.
What's the fallout on that? Is he going to get credit? The deal's apparently going to be done today. Is he going to get credit in the end, or is he going to look like you?
I don't see how he gets credit for, coming in and slowing down a deal that will look by the broad contours very much like it looked last Wednesday before he jumped into the middle of things. And he didn't come with a plan, and he didn't come with any particular notions about what he was going to do to move the deal along. He didn't change it in any big ways. I think maybe that's also reflected in the polls. People say, what in the world was he doing? But, despite that, I think, again, Obama's opened up a bit of a lead. We don't know what that'll hold, but it's incumbent now on McCain. And I think this also suggests the debate performance didn't do what he needed to do. It's incumbent on McCain to somehow change the narrative of the campaign this week, to change the dynamic, and we'll see if he doesn't pull another stunt to try to make that happen.
Well, he's not having a very good end of the month. September began well for him, but it's ending badly. And it seems that for his running mate, Sarah Palin, it's a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad 10 days or so.
Right.
The last thing being her interview with Katie Couric. All eyes are on St. Louis, where her debate against Joe Biden this Thursday night, moderated by our friend Gwen Ifill. What does she have to do in that debate?
Well, I think before the events of the last couple of days, all she had to do was sort of look credible and not make a mistake. I think the last week was so damaging to her that she needs to actually do a little bit more than that. She needs to show some expertise on something, right? I mean, she needs to show that she can do more than just avoid making a catastrophic mistake. She needs to show that that she's up to being a leader, at least by taking on a particular issue. I don't know, maybe energy.
One of the criticisms of her seems to be, as is refined by the Katie Couric interview and everything, that not only does she not know very much about these things, which you might expect somebody might not if they'd been governor of Alaska, but that she really hasn't kind of thought about big problems facing the country, big issues of international relations and so on. It's just not in her vocabulary. When the Tina Fey skit on Saturday night, they basically took verbatim her answer to Katie on the economy and turned it into comedy, and people laughed. They couldn't. They gave up on trying to make something funnier than what it really happened.
Until less than 2 years ago, she was the mayor of a town in Alaska of about 7,000 people, and so it's. I mean, it doesn't come as a shock to, I think, a lot of people that she hasn't thought about these issues more broadly. How do you get her up to speed on substance and not take away the things that people really like about her? The spontaneity, the optimism, the natural, the personality, the Reagan-like personality.
Yeah, because now she looks like somebody who's crammed so hard her head hurts, and she can't remember what she really does know herself, and she's trying to pull down the answers they've fed her, and it results in these sort of getting a little tape in her mind that is connected and doesn't make any sense.
And then when she runs out of tape, she runs out of tape.
Yeah.
But I think she needs to, again, I think she needs to, they need to shore up her confidence that the personal characteristics that she brings to this race are what made it so exciting for a lot of Republicans and a lot of people in the middle over the last month, without making her feel so hemmed in that she can't be herself, but also she needs to have some substantive answers, and she needs to show some expertise somewhere.
And Joe Biden, people had worried maybe he could be condescending, come off like a bully. Seems to me that if he just stands up and breathes in and out, he'll probably be...
Well, that's funny, because that's a big change in expectations from a couple of weeks ago, where all she had to do was show up, and he had to try to find a way. One thing I think is for sure, there will be a lot of people watching on Thursday night for that Biden-Palin debate.
We'll see you again next week for another Capitol Conversation when we examine the latest twists and turns in this crazy presidential race. Until then...
Capitol Conversation, we'll see you right back here.